folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I am multi-streaming on Utizzle and Bumble, and I hope you all can hear me good. And I hope you all had a great day. So I'm going to play some videos while we wait for people to get into the chats. And we'll talk about what's been going on. We had a boom com from Mr. T. And a lot of other stuff happening. So let's go get on with the show.
Tish James, the New York Attorney General, I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term. Because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other.
How you doing? Look, let me start by saying this. If I offend anybody today, I don't give a shit.
It has only been 44 days, but the president will have a lot to talk about tonight when he heads up to Capitol Hill to address a joint...
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America.
Inaugurate a new president and vice president.
From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back. Our spirit is back. Our pride is back. Members of Congress, and to my fellow citizens, America is back. Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. Every day my administration is fighting to bring a future that America deserves. We are draining the swamp, and the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. Despite the best efforts of those who will try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of
jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Nice to see you all. Who's in here tonight? Ha ha, Sissy, how you doing? Nice to see you. White Lightning's here. Doc, Colette, nice to see you. Let me see. Wow, we got a lot of people coming in chats. Kathy's here. KNS Cleanup. Todd, Gloria, Debbie, television shows. Sherry, Kickenbird. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Everybody's rolling. Ronald's here. Let's see. Well, did you see Mr. T at the Department of Justice? Justin, how you doing? Just in case you're asking. Gary's here. Ms. Constitutional Rights is pink hand waving. Nice to see you. Marie's here. Angela. Melinda. M&S Motorsports. Karen's here. How nice to see you, Karen DeFree. Dunphy. Okay, Dunphy. So, I've got a lot of this and that to go over with you all. And we've got things happening, or at least being discussed over near Ruski land and the Ukrainians and all that good stuff. We'll see what comes of that. Some messages from Mr. T. And there has been a warning sent, my understanding, that is to the members of Hamas. And you can't say Hamas without saying subconsciously Iran. You know what I'm saying? So they had a deadline and it's coming up. And we want our hostages back. We've even got 4 people who aren't alive. We want their bodies, American citizens, and we want them back. And they were told what was going to happen if they didn't play ball. So, yeah, I had it's about a 6-minute tape video of Trump during a campaign's rally where he was discussing the Justice Department and attorneys abusing the law to conduct lawfare and stuff like that. I transferred it from my recording to a Google account, and it disappeared. But I know which rally it was. And I'll have to go back and try, if I can, see if it's somewhere in the ether. But anyway, I've got other clips. As a matter of fact, I got an interview with Maria Bartiromo and Pam Bondi concerning a great many things. So I'll play that and make commentary on it, and also go over what Pam Bondi had to say regarding a lot of things like lawfare, Epstein, and things are going to happen, but we just have to wait. And I'm sure there are things happening now, but Trump named names again. He named names again. Weissman, again. Called him out by name today. I call him Mr. Sweaty Man. Let me give you a little blast from the past. From Weissman. Here he is, so you all know who I'm talking about. I got a couple of different videos of him. But this one shows you the pettiness Pettiness, in my mind, it's very brief. It's criminal in my mind.
Judge is going to kick this down the road anymore. And the other thing, if I were Donald Trump, that I would not be so happy with is sentencing Donald Trump after the election, if he loses, makes it much more likely that you can think about sending him to jail. You will know at that point whether he has lost or not. And if he's lost, the whole idea of not, of saying, oh, I can't sentence him to jail, it's like, well, you'll know if he's just citizen Trump and he's not a candidate.
Yeah, there he is talking about putting Trump in jail. Well, the shoe's going to be on the other foot. The shoe's going to be on the other foot. And here is, there's a lot of things. I see what you're saying there, Tankin. Kash Patel's got to talk to Pam Bondi. I'm sure they're talking. And there's stuff that will come to light that there are reasons certain things aren't being put out right now. And I'll give you a hint about one reason. It's called grand juries, okay? Especially secret grand juries. You're not, just a regular grand jury, you're not supposed to discuss anything about a grand jury. You're not even supposed to run around tell people that a grand jury is being held, actually. And you know what happens with grand juries. You get indictments out of grand juries. Okay, so with all the stuff that's being discussed, all the evidence of what we're seeing, all the people that Trump is calling out, he mentioned Comey by name, said he was the biggest problem in the FBI. And he was so happy that he fired him. All this stuff going on, you know that there has to be grand juries. You just can't say, hi, I'm Pam Bondi, and I've got these envelopes here, and they're full of indictments because I wrote them up last night when I was watching TV. No, you have to have a process, okay? Remember how they abused the grand jury process with Trump and the Wiccan witch in Georgia? And Newt Gingrich said, I have it on very good authority that that the White House called Fani Willis's office and said, we don't care what you do, get that indictment in today. Today. Remember that, folks? And they filed the indictment with the clerk of the court, the lady in orange, before the grand jury was even finished deliberating. Those are all violations of law. We're going to go by the law, by the book. So anyway, how many issues we got to talk about? We got to talk about the shutdown ain't going to happen, right? Here's goofball Chuck Schumer, which Trump is throwing out some olive branches, okay? Olive branches, like when he was talking today, Justice Department, he was saying the judges were being unfairly, for lack of a better term, bullied, intimidated, insulted, put up for public ridicule. Think Midas Trash Network. And so in a way, he's attempting to give some of these judges a path to credibility, okay, and extricate themselves from some of these political prosecutions and these phony injunctions and whatnot. So anyway, but here's Chuck Schumer talking about he's folded, and I don't even know what happened or if the votes are going on tonight in the Senate about the continuing resolution. But even though Trump is being conciliatory, Chuck has got to call us bastardos. Bastardos.
to have the conflict on the best ground we have, summed up in a sentence, that they're making the middle class pay for tax cuts for billionaires, it's much, much better not to be in the middle of a shutdown, which would divert people from the number one issue we have against these bastards, these people, which is not only all these cuts, but they're ruining democracy.
It's hard to say who Chuck Schumer's married to. I see what you're saying there, Debbie. That reminds me. I had a picture the other day. That person they appointed as Prime Minister of Canada, this is the First Lady, I guess, or whatever they call her, of Canada right now. Well, what are you looking at? What am I looking at? What is that? I mean, I don't want to make fun of people because, you know, they're born homely or something like that. But something ain't right. What is it with these characters? What is it? You got Macron, his wife. You got the Colombian prime minister or president going on a date with a tranny. I showed a video of that. You got Mike Shell. You got, I don't know who, Trudeau's, you know, I don't know what to tell you about Trudeau, but I don't even know what's going on with it. But now you got this is, I guess, the First Lady of Canada. So, I don't know. Speaking of Mike Shell, putting out a podcast right here. Michelle Obama, in my opinion, with her brother. And I heard it was a big flop, full of bots and phony thumbs ups. But did you ever see that video where a guy from Africa is interviewing somebody who says, why are you gay? G-E-H, gay. Why are you gay? That's what I think of when I see stuff like this. Why are you gay? But anyway, they're trying to say, where's that picture of it? That she is, she's doing as what, challenging or coming close to Joe Rogan. Here it is. No, that's somebody. This is somebody else. Exclusive. Dumped host Joy Reid set to, quote, scream bloody murder over being axed from MSNBC. She knows where the bodies are buried and is getting set to torch network to the ground. Good. You go, girl. You go, girl. You kind of look like a skinny version of Michelle's brother. I don't know. They mess around with hormones. Who knows what up from down or what they're doing. But anyway, if I get to that article they're talking about, here it is. They got a picture of Joe Rogan and Michelle Obama. Like she's any kind of competition for Joe Rogan, who I don't personally care for, but whatever. Here's I think it was I'm not sure which article. I got this off of Mark Dice. I've recommended his channel before, but here's an honest accounting of the channel's performance. One area Obama is beating Rogan is subscriber engagement. Subscriber engagement. On YouTube, Obama has 17,100 subscribers, while Rogan has 19.5 million. How can even, with a straight face, the first episode had 43,800 views? Who is Issa Rae? I have no idea. No, it has received 43,000 views. I don't even know who Issa Rae is. while Joe Rogan had 749,000 views. I don't know. It's ridiculous. They try to play these mind games, act like these people are worth going to watch or going to see or anything like that. Yeah, Mark Dice goes way back. And I like watching his videos. But speaking of mind games, here is, the Democrats are adrift, right? Here is Tim Walz. New York Post reports. Tim Walz takes blame for the, quote, mess the Democratic Party is in after the election. And I had a clip. Let me find it. I had a clip of where they were talking up Tim Walz. Now and they're trying to do the same thing with Michelle. Okay, they're going to be doing that with Michelle. But anyway, a little blast from the past. Remember, if they were able to pull off what they pulled off in 2020, this guy would be a heartbeat away from the presidency. And this is the way the media pumped him up.
Midwestern dad, like super clean cut vibe.
Everybody likes
right?
Tim Walz.
So plain spoken and relatable. As moderate and independent as it comes.
Pretty moderate Democrat.
I always knew him as a moderate. One of the most moderate.
Very moderate record.
The new moderate.
I think this is the new moderate.
Far from progressive.
He's right down the middle.
He's not just an old white man.
Tim Walz beats America.
Talks like a regular person.
Tim Walz is the opposite of weird.
Walz is basically younger Joe Biden.
Regular old Joe out there.
Populist approach to fear on the Republican side, and the happy populism. That Tim Walz is on the ticket on the Democratic side.
Walz is a kind of happy warrior.
Happy warriors.
Happy warriors.
He was certainly the happy warrior last night and seemed to be the happy warrior last night.
A happy warrior, folksy backstory.
Are going to be very happy warriors.
There is a new happy warrior.
Following the kind of happy warrior mold.
Happy warrior
mentality.
Wicked sense of humor. Look how happy the pig looks. That's good.
And J.D. Vance is weird, extreme, and angry.
Utter humorlessness. The humorlessness and pompousness.
It's hard to believe that J.D. Vance could be any more extreme.
It's like a freak show of bros.
They have J.D. Vance, dark and ugly beneath the dignity of most politicians.
J.V. Vance.
JD is at the far extreme.
The most extreme. Being one of the most extreme.
We need to recognize the danger.
Angry and mean and dark.
Cat lady hating sidekick J.D. Vance. This guy is really weird, y'all.
Everybody in America knows a J.D. Vance, but we stay away from him because he's weird.
Anger, chaos.
Hangdog ex-husband.
He was able to reach all the way down to a J.D. Vance. Hope, optimism, joy.
Salt of the earth, Midwestern uncle vibes, the quintessential Midwestern dad.
Tim Walz keeps winning hot dish contests, apparently. There's some folksy charm. Tim Walz is so funny that if he's good at this, he will release a recipe for a hot dish.
All of his time on the ground, fixing F-150s.
Pops out of a Norman Rockwell painting, right? He's small town America incarnate.
Midwest, your uncle, your dad.
I have not been this happy in years. He's the guy who is always there to help you, whether it's changing your oil, whether it's fixing a lawnmower, or whether it's helping to fix our democracy. It feels so good to have hope.
And I'm going to call him the coach from now until Election Day.
Coach.
Tim Walz, the plain-spoken fun uncle who will defend the people he loves.
Proud, the resilient, the hardworking, patriotic.
Ice fishes. He's a hunter. He does butter carving. He is a rural person.
Yeah, I see the mocking and then bird references. That's exactly right. Exactly right. I think I got a video of, I might not have it in here. Oh, Obama. Yeah, here he is. Here's Obama. Ha ha. He didn't know he was future-proven past, right?
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody. Waste we should be getting rid of, even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big, but no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans are already cutting back. Just as families are living within their means, government should too. Did you know the federal government pays for a website devoted to a folk music ensemble made up of forest rangers? They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters. I'll put their music on my iPod, but I'm not paying for their website. And there are hundreds of similar sites that we should consolidate or just get rid of. By the way, you're not only paying for websites no one needs, you're paying for thousands of buildings all across the country no one uses. For the last decade, the government's owned a massive and completely empty warehouse in the middle of Brooklyn, for example. Now, the government hadn't been able to sell this building and others like it because of red tape and Washington politics that held things up for years. But we're finally cutting through all that and plan to get rid of these buildings in the months ahead. We need to step up our game. We need to go after every dime. We need to make government work for you. That's why, starting today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste, and I know Joe's the right man to lead it, because nobody messes with Joe.
There's a new standard by which the government is going to function from this point on. The American people are entitled to transparency. Look, a lot of this depends.
Are you sure that's Joe? That doesn't look like Joe. Is that Joe before he, what did Trump say? He shot. He shot. Remember Trump saying, don't you think he looks different? Anyway.
Depends on new, sophisticated methods, but it also, we know, depends on relentless focus on making this a priority. Focus that can't be delegated. We're holding ourselves accountable, and we're deeply committed and focused on making government function better. We're not just eliminating fraud and waste. We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue. We're going to give you the government you expect and deserve.
Well, maybe your voters got the government they deserve. We don't deserve what was being done. And how many years ago was this video taken? How many years ago? I think it was done before the switch, right? A lot of you know what I'm talking about, the switch out. So they had a map up there of buildings around the country that they said they were getting rid of unnecessary buildings. I showed you a map. I don't know if I still got it in here or not, of the buildings they were taking out that had Nancy Pelosi's name on them, Dick Cheney. Let me see if I can find that. They didn't get rid of hardly any buildings. We've got them out there. Well, I don't think I've got it in here in the studio anymore, but you guys remember Trump's going to get here. They are. Yeah, I showed you this the other night. Here, the U.S. government's considering selling 443 non-core asset buildings. Wyoming's got the Dick Cheney building. Chicago's got 11 properties, and the DMV, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, 40% of square footage. So anyway, all that promising and garbage, they hadn't done squat. But anyway, I thought that was just a fun video blast from the past that I can go ahead and take out of my studio, my Quiver, since it's on Rumble now. If I've got a good signal on Rumble, I hope so. Hi, Lone Wolf. How you doing? LMC Homegrown. How you doing? Benjamin, nice to see you. Now, okay, who else is coming in? Colette's here. Let's see. I'm just checking to see if anybody came in. So anyway, so let me talk a little bit before I get to Pam Bondi's interview. Putin, I showed you a little interview or talk he gave, saying at least they had some communications and what they wanted to get around with the ceasefire. But Vladimir Putin said Thursday Russia agreed with proposals to stop fighting, but said that any ceasefire should lead to a long-lasting peace and would have to deal with the root causes of the conflict. If many of you probably saw my early videos a couple of years ago, Putin said he had his two main goals were the denazification, I'll say it one time, maybe won't get in trouble, of Ukraine, and for the demilitarization. Those two things, they have to be demilitarized and denazified. So I'm sure Trump's got all that in his hopper and his mental hopper. Let me see what he put out. Let's see. We had very good productive. Whoa. There's Donald Trump. Discussions with Putin. And there's a very good chance that this horrible, bloody war can finally come to an end. But at this very moment, thousands of Ukrainian troops are completely surrounded. And that's true. It's about 10,000 of them in the Kursk area. They've got one golden bridge that may be closed by now, I don't know, where they could get out on foot. They couldn't take any equipment or vehicles, nothing. But anyway, and in very bad and vulnerable position. I have strongly requested to President Putin that their lives be spared. This would be a horrible massacre, one not seen since World War II. God bless them all. Yeah, they're in a bad way, and very little was coming out about Ukrizel on the foreign services. Let me see if this is an old report here. This was from Lukashenko, who was sitting next to Putin when he gave his little talk last night. The Kursk region will be finally liberated within literally a few days. Putin would talk with Trump's envoys about a ceasefire. Belarus has not yet received the Oreshnik missiles from Russia. Remember those? Those are faster than the speed of sound. They have to get updated launchers. A missile from the older brother will be needed. The U.S. has no plan for the conflict in Ukraine. Washington is only testing the waters. Now, mind you, this is Lukashenko from Belarus. An agreement will be reached when Russia plays its trump cards. Interesting choice of words. It is not possible to pressure Russia on the issue of a settlement in Ukraine. The U.S. put pressure on Kiev. So what he's saying is, you can't get anywhere putting pressure on Russia. Put pressure on Zelensky. They wanted to strangle Russia and Belarus, but they will live. Time and persistence are needed. So it's not a condemnation, and it is not Putin the one doing the talking. But still, they put signals in there, right? Trump tightens sanctions on Russia. Carrot and a stick. Carrot and a stick. Imposes additional restrictions on oil, gas, and banking sectors. CBS News. It is reported that the U.S. president did not renew the Treasury Department's license. That's an interesting choice of words also, which allowed foreign companies to make payments for Russian energy resources through sanctioned Russian banks. Restricting access to American banking systems makes it difficult for other countries to buy Russian oil, thereby limiting global supplies. The media claims this will serve as one of the levers of pressure to convince Russia to agree to a ceasefire. Well, we shall see, because Trump has pretty much let them know that if he wanted to, he could drown them in oil, and they'll be back in their old position of where they got so much oil they can't give it away and can't make money. But anyway, Putin said that he had read Trump's call to spare Ukrainian soldiers, the one I just read to you earlier. In order to implement Trump's call, Kiev must give the order to its military in the Kursk region to surrender. In the event of the laying down of arms, Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region will be guaranteed life and decent treatment, the Russian leader said. Putin also stressed that the Trump administration is doing everything to restore at least something in relations between Russia and the United States. He's given a credit to Trump for at least trying to get something going. And he is basically saying they've got to surrender, and they don't have a death penalty, and they'll be treated decently. And some of them, will be allowed to go home. Some of them, anybody participating in atrocities, though, will spend many years in a Russian gulag. That's what he's basically saying. So Zelensky comes out and says the Kursk operation accomplished its task. Quote, "Our guys are absolutely heroic. They took a strong blow. Thanks to the Kursk operation, the situation in whatever Kharkov directions has stabilized." They took a strong blow. He's acknowledging that they've had the be-jabbers knocked out of them. And I guess he's got to do something about what Putin said. Lay down their arms. I'm sure they're letting some of them go on foot. They've done that before. So anyway, at least there's communication going on, right? So anyway, here's a video I think you guys will like. Ha ha ha, I liked it. Put a smile on my face.
The Democrats are sinking, and I don't mind. The Democrats are sinking, and I don't mind. The Democrats are sinking, and I don't mind. It's about damn time.
It's about damn time. Look, here's Stink Uter talking about the Democrats. I've said enough about this guy, but he knows they're sinking too.
I used to be a Republican growing up. Then I realized they're full of crap, never do anything that they promise. Oh, balanced budgets. When's the last time you guys balanced the budget? Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, yeah, I got it. Tax cuts for the rich. I got it. So I left the party, and did all the Republicans hate me? They were like, oh, no, come back anytime. Okay, the Democrats. Did I leave the Democratic Party? No. I ran for Congress as a Democrat. I ran for president in a primary as a Democrat. Democrats said, we don't want to be associated with you because that was literally in court, because you're running against beloved Biden and you're a traitor. But wait, I'm in the Democratic Party. I'm running as a Democrat. How dare you? Wait, what? Okay, and then after the election, hey, listen, that's amazing. MAGA seems to be saying that they agree with us on cutting the Pentagon. Nazi! What? Didn't we want to cut the Pentagon? Yeah, but if you work with the other side at all, even if they're doing the thing that we want, Nazi! Well, guys, you're gonna drive everyone away.
He's talking about how unreasonable Democrats are. I could play stuff where he has been the most foul-mouthed critic, calling us all sorts of names. But anyway, they're just trying to salvage some kind of career. some kind of career. But I'll always remember him for being a stinker, okay? A stinker. Speaking of stinkers, here is that Senator Kelly I was talking about last night. I pulled up his Wikipedia page. And I said, well, he went to Ukraine. Maybe Elon's being too rough on him, calling him a traitor. Maybe he's a gray hat, maybe doing a little background work. But after this video, I don't believe so. I think he is I think he's on the TAKE. And I'm wondering, did he write a book? Didn't Trump say something about somebody in the armed forces named Kelly that wrote a book that was really nasty about Trump? But anyway, maybe it's not him. But here's his response to Elon.
Hey folks, it's Mark Kelly here in Washington, driving to work for the last time in my Tesla. When I bought this thing, I didn't think it was going to become a political issue. Every time I get in this car in the last 60 days or so, it reminds me of just how much damage Elon Musk and Donald Trump is doing to our country. Talking about slashing Social Security, cutting healthcare benefits for poor people, for seniors. It's one bad thing after the next. He's firing veterans. I'm a veteran, so I have a really hard time driving around in this thing. So I think it's time for an upgrade today. So this is going to be my last trip in this car. There were some things I really liked about it. There are things I didn't like about it, but that doesn't matter. What matters is, doing the right thing. I think it's time to get rid of it. Elon Musk kind of turned out to be an asshole, and I don't want to be driving a car built and designed by an asshole. So, looking forward to my new ride.
Yeah, everything he said was total misrepresentation. Nobody's cutting Medicaid for the poor. Nobody's firing veterans. Nobody's slashing Social Security. That's, every bit of that was just a bald-faced lie. And let me find that one. Here it is. Elon Musk with a chainsaw. Y'all hear about this? Wow. Doge discovers a Louisiana man with 34 different names, addresses, and Social Security numbers. He was collecting $1,168,646 in Social Security per year. Oh, don't cut him. Don't cut him from Social Security. We know Obama had more than one Social Security number. Not a lot of Americans know that. He was using some guy's Social Security number for years. He might have had even 3. He's got at least 2 on record. Remember that, folks? Here, put this on your Meta page. No tax on tips. No tax on crypto. No taxes on people making less than $150,000 a year. That gets through. The Democrats are going to be finished. They're going to be finished. Debbie, you say that every broadcast you've had enough of the clown show. Well, a lot of the people still waking up. We got to help them wake up. Hi, Raven's Wings. How you doing? So anyway, I don't know how I got a name in the chats that's not good. Not good. I don't know how you get away with it. I always have to talk in code about that subject. But anyway, here we have, I got to dig that video up, where Trump was talking about Iran being allegedly being behind the assassination attempt. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. After I believe the second one was Ryan Ralph. But he brought up on one of his campaign rallies the father of the one in Butler, Pennsylvania, had top-of-the-line attorneys and a very modest income, but had attorneys that were worth big, big money. And he brought that up before he got elected. And I got a video of that. I'll play it one day if it didn't disappear. But that plays into this. How does a foreign student at a college that costs $93,000 a year still manage to afford 19 lawyers that cost $1,000 each? Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you. Yeah, how does that happen? Here's Trump putting out a little congratulations to glum Chuck Schumer. Remember, he's at that dinner. He said, "Oh, you look so glum, Chuck." But anyway, Trump said, "Congratulations to Chuck Schumer for doing the right thing. It took guts and courage. The big tax cuts, LA fire fix, debt ceiling bill, and so much more is coming. We should all work together on that very dangerous situation. A non-pass would be a country destroyer. Approval will lead us to new heights again." Really good, smart move by Senator Schumer. This could lead to something big for the USA, a whole new direction and beginning. So that's a good olive branch. But then you've got AOC coming out saying she might run against Chuck Schumer. So I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, that student, no, he's not a paid actor. I think he's a Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood character is what I think. Anyway, here's another nitwit that can't see past his nose all the good things that are coming, and blindly hating Elon and Tesla.
You need to sell your Tesla. I'm not going to warn you again, okay? Those of us in the resistance are not going to stand for these hate mobiles driving around providing free advertising for the man who has subverted our democracy and spread disinformation and hate speech and supported the fascist takeover of our government, and who has taken the food from the mouths of millions of people around the world by destroying U.S. aid and has betrayed Vladimir Zelensky. That is how serious this is. And you continue to pre-order these Teslas, you continue to drive and charge these cars that are making this man, Elon Musk, more and more powerful, infinitely powerful. That is not okay. It's not okay. We are sending the Tesla stock to zero. Zero, Elon. We're sending your company to zero. This time next year, Tesla might not even exist. That is how serious we are about resisting this company and showing the world what it means to support Tesla. This is about good versus evil. These cars are not okay.
So this guy, he's not paying attention to anything that Elon is putting out, Trump's putting out, the massive waste of money, the promise of what you see on the screen, being able to keep the fruits of your labor. They are in a media-induced delusion. And, even if he heard the truth, I believe he's too far gone. But here is a good way. Is this, which representative is this? Collins? Listen to the way he dresses down this reporter for playing games with the news and not reporting the truth. He does it to her face.
But I do have a second thing, Patricia, I really need to know. One of the things that I've been finding, we got into it a little bit in the discussion, but one of the issues that we're having is, and it's something here, I need your help on something. I need your help because all I seem to be doing lately is fighting back against innuendo and rumor stories. And this is what I seem to be fighting about all the time. In fact, Patricia, part of it is with you.
I'm sure.
And I just need your help because when you start headlines with, there's a rumor going around and that we've heard that, that hurts my veterans. That scares my veterans. That scares my employees because it's not true. Will you commit to not doing that in the future?
Well, there was a DOJ representative that day.
I have a VA employee who is our DOJ liaison. You knew that and you could ask that question.
I did ask that
But
question.
when you got the answer. But my question here is, I need you to commit to not starting off. Rumors began circulating.
I mean,
well, if
that's
it's either true or false, Patricia, and then you go to Patty Murphy, saying that we've heard and we have DOJ may have barged into the VA today. Unconfirmed hearsay. You know what you'd have done if I was a member of Congress and probably done that? Unconfirmed report. But you didn't put unconfirmed report.
Right.
So, Patricia, I want to work together with you.
Okay.
But I need you to commit to me that you're not going to do this.
I'm working on it, and I have. I've been actually, I have another question based on that. Thank you very much.
No, I want to hear the answer first. Are you committing not to do rumors? Because you're scaring my VA employees about this.
That's fair.
And you're scaring my veterans.
Yeah,
That's unforgivable. That's not a something I
But
take
if
lightly.
a rumor is different than if I have a source.
Then you source it to our PR people and let them know. Because you know something, I've got people who are reporting stuff right now who aren't even calling us. They don't even get something from. They don't even call us to check it.
Well, that's not right.
Well, this isn't right either.
Okay. Well, that's fair. But I did call about that.
Good.
I did call about
And you got the answer, but yet you still report it as a rumor.
Well, I didn't.
Okay. Which is it? Which is it? Is it a rumor or is you get confirmed?
Was that there is a DOJ person there.
There is. Okay. Nobody
has
has said that from you. Nobody. Okay. We answered it, but it was reported as a rumor. I mean, think about this.
I take issue with parsing out my stuff,
in the headline of the story, Elon Musk. Hey, I don't care who wrote it.
I know.
But your byline.
I'm starting to push back on those, and I
okay. But you think about what it says here. Elon Musk aide is now working at VA accessing computer systems. Ooh. And that's
a true statement.
No, it is because you know what? We don't make a DOJ employee, which is funny because they're VA employees, a liaison. We don't also give them a pen.
I was not told that.
We don't give.
I was not told.
But you wrote the article.
Liaison. It
you wrote
told
the article.
It was a DOJ employee. One DOJ employee.
As we look at this, Patricia, I want you to know something. When you look at this headline and you're accessing computer systems, I want to work with you a lot as we go forward. We're going to have a lot of time together.
That's fair.
But I'm not going to have any reporter scaring my employees and scaring the veterans. And that's what this is doing. Let's get it right. I'm the most transparent VA secretary we've had yet. I'm on video. I'm on interviews. I do everything I possibly can to push back against everything I'm hearing. So we got a team that will help you, but I need your commitment to help me too. Okay?
Okay, he told her she's just fear-mongering, causing trouble. A fear-mongerer. Speaking of fear-mongering, here's who's this right here? This is whatever her name is in charge of the union for teachers, okay? I believe this is the one who went on a fact-finding mission to Ukraine. What the hell were you doing over in Ukraine? But anyway, her position is about to be gone.
This is why so many people are so mad about it, because they're just taking opportunity away from kids that don't have it. So billionaires, kids of billionaires, they have it. They go to private schools. Everyone else, 90%, go to public schools. Don't take away their opportunity.
So let's stay on the facts.
Sorry,
no,
I'm really angry about this.
No, because this
I'm
is what
really
people
angry.
need to hear.
I taught kids in Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, she taught high school for a couple of years and then got herself in this cushy job. And, whoa, this is something I'm going to play later on. Got herself in a cushy job and meddling around in foreign policy. Here she is going to a NGO-funded, quote, peaceful protests. And she don't want to answer any questions, but they're all being paid for and supported by these damn NGOs.
Hello, Randy. Why did you speak at a protest organized by the Sunrise Movement, an organization that has organized violent Tesla showroom protests in New York? Is it embracing violence the new policy of the AFT? Then why did you speak at the rally organized by the Sunrise Movement, who have literally organized violent protests in the last week?
We have organized a very peaceful rally right now.
Excuse us, can we move this way?
Who is she to have all that security around her, walking around like a big shot? Her name's Randi Weingarten. That's who it is. Randi Weingarten. Thank you, Miss Mendersu. I'm glad you like my videos. Ha ha. So anyway, they're all freaking out. Oh, here's Tom Tillis. He put this out for everybody to see what kind of abuse he's been putting up with because of the fake news and these NGOs fear-mongering.
Good afternoon, Senator Tillis.
That's how Northern Warbeck think about you Southern white trash. That's what the ones who won the Civil War think about you. Do you understand that inferior bad genes, inbred stupid you and all your people?
Yeah, Tom Tillis. Afraid of death threats. Then get the out of office.
I would like to talk to Tom Tillis and ask him why he thinks it's okay for him to take money from this nation and it over. Why does he think that he can tell his employers to go themselves every goddamn day, all day long, and sell his goddamn nation out and his employers over? Don't he know that his employers can take a axe handle and cave his head in?
And I suggest, well, you're going to have to be very careful about going out in public or talking to anybody that's real, that's an actual American, because we hate you.
If I didn't have a broken back in Southern California, I would spend the rest of my life in federal prison for a chance to cut your throat.
Oh, they got federal prisons that can handle somebody with a broken back, okay? Yeah, keep up that kind of talk, buddy. So anyway, this is the kind of stuff they're fomenting. I don't even know what this video is. Let's see, what is this? Oh, this is when J.D. Vance showed up at the Kennedy Center. And you know you got all the bureaucratic blue bloods going there. And he shows up with his wife. And this is the way I think I hear some applause in there too. It's not just boos. But this is they got about as much class as a glass of dirty ice water.
Kill that light!
Yeah, you can't even go out and watch something at the Kennedy Center. You know, and the Kennedy Center is going to be sucking wind anyway. but that's neither here nor there. Here's Mr. Trump President Trump put out, our economy will boom like never before. But I take that as a boom calm. There's a boom coming. And when you hear the discussions that were going on at the Justice Department about what's going to be done about these attorneys that already have weaponized lawfare, and I might as well go ahead and play the interview with Maria Bartiromo. Where is that? Have I got that in the studio? Maria Bartiromo discussing what they're going to do. Let's see. Don't tell me I haven't got that in the studio. My word. It's a bit of a clip. It's. I might have to go out of the studio and get. No, here it is. Here it is. Pam Bondi with Maria Bartiromo talking about Trump going to the Justice Department today. So I want to have my picture, Mr. T doing his red pill. I'll do that while the video is playing. But anyway, Maria gets right down to business. She asks a lot of questions we want to know about.
Making an historic visit today to the Department of Justice for a speech laying out his vision for restoring law and order and ending the weaponization of the Department of Justice and our law enforcement agencies. Here's the president yesterday.
We have a great Justice Department. Pam Bondi is so fantastic. We don't want to have crime in the streets. We don't want to have people pushed into subways and killed, and then the person that did the pushing ends up in a 15-year trial and gets off scot-free. We want to have justice, and we want to have safety in our cities as well as our communities. And we'll be talking about immigration. We'll be talking about a lot of things, the complete gamut.
And joining me right now is the woman with the job, the nation's U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. AG, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Maria. It's great to be with you.
And of course, you sat and testified under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee, the same thing, that you would only follow the facts and the law. Tell us how you will de-weaponize the DOJ.
Well, Maria, we've been doing it since day one, and we're going to continue to do that. President Trump's mission was very clear. His directive was make America safe again. That's what we're going to do. No more weaponization. We're going to go back to fighting basic crime, getting these cartels out of our country by securing our borders, prosecuting the worst of the worst, seizing the drugs, which is what President Trump has directed us to do since the second he's been in office, and lock up the violent criminals as long as we can behind bars or seek the death penalty. And that's what we've been doing. You know, we've signed death warrants. We've to seek the death penalty since he's been in office. It's not business as usual. We are going back to the basics, fighting violent crime. And taking these drugs off the street is the main component of keeping our kids safe.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, because people have been afraid to walk the streets, basically, because there's no accountability. You have to go to the drugstore and find your toothpaste locked up. Tell me how you're going to do it and what you can tell us about the president's speech today at the DOJ.
Yeah, you know, he has never been to the Department of Justice.
That's amazing.
And it's right, and I can't wait for him to be there to show that he is going to make America safe, that he has been making America safe. Just since he's been in office, 2,000 kilos of fentanyl have been taken off the streets. It's crazy what he's done. 18,000 kilos of methamphetamine. These are the things that are killing our kids from coast to coast, whether it's St. Louis to 170,000 pills of fentanyl in Utah. That's one life per pill. And he has been fighting drugs, fighting the cartels, and we are going to keep America safe. And, you know, the weaponization has ended. They are trying to weaponize against Elon Musk, and we are not going to let that happen either.
Well, that's right. And we saw all the vandalism to the Tesla cars this week. President Trump will reportedly invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, which allows him to fast-track deportations of criminals that are illegal migrants. ICE also arrested more than illegal migrants in the first 50 days.
We've already got one judge talking about saying that the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 is unenforceable, so they're going to fight it at every level. But anyway, I'll let it keep going. Let me see.
Of the president's second term, including those 14,000 convicted of crimes. AG, I want to get your take on how you're going to do this, because you're facing pushback, right? The sanctuary cities are saying, no. We are sanctuary. We're going to continue sanctuary. So where is the accountability for some of these sanctuary cities that are working against you?
Yeah, well, you're seeing what's happening. We're suing them. We're suing the states. They will no longer be sanctuary cities. We will come in there. We will arrest you. We will prosecute you. We will deport you. If you've committed a crime, you will go to prison in our country for as long as possible. If you're an illegal alien, we will deport you. It's that simple. That's what's been happening. Our federal government is working great now. You know, these liberal mayors, governors, we're not going to put up with it. I've warned them. If they're not listening, they will continue. We will continue to sue them. We will continue to pull their federal funding until they comply with federal law, because our job is to make America safe again. And I don't know how, Maria, they can.
Well, I mean, you're sending messages.
Well, I think all that's well and good, but withholding funding and all this kind of stuff. But at some point, there's got to be, if somebody is violating the law, aiding and abetting, even if it's a governor, let me pull one out of my hat, like Pritzker or somebody like that. There's got to be what I've called it, talked about in the past, a sacrificial lamb. Somebody got to be made an example of if they don't toe the line and do it pretty damn quick, in my opinion.
Messages out that, you know, there will be accountability. And I think everyone has to agree that you want accountability for people who are, trafficking drugs and humans. So that's great. But we also have seen real weaponization against President Trump, against the Republicans over the last 10 years. That's right. I lived it, the Russia collusion story. Will anyone be held accountable for the Russia collusion lie that the Clinton campaign and the Democrats came up with against President Trump that ripped our country?
People in jail.
We're ending it. People will be held accountable who weaponized our government. Mm-hmm. You know, there were a lot of pardons out there, but there were a lot of people who were not pardoned. And you targeted someone, if you went after someone because of their political affiliation, we will be investigating you. We will be looking at you, because that's the weaponization, and it has to stop. For instance, look what they're continuing to do, as I said, to Elon Musk. They are targeting Tesla dealerships, the stations where you charge a Tesla. They're vandalizing cars. I have already directed an investigation be opened to see how is this being funded, who is behind this, doing this. We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out, because we're coming after you.
Well, I believe it when I see it, because they had two lawyers that were firebombing police cars, and they didn't do hardly any time at all. So we'll see what's going to happen with this. But we'll try to trust Pam Bondi. You know, we were promised the Epstein files, and we didn't get them yet. So anyway.
We're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
So, in terms of the Russia collusion story, is there any work on that? Are you going to try to find out who, in fact, pushed this lie that Trump colluded back in 2017?
Maria, we have teams of lawyers working nonstop on every issue you can imagine to end the weaponization. And what you're saying, that will put an end to the weaponization, all the lies, everything that's happened. It's over. It's a new day. We also want to move forward and fight violent crime.
Of course. And you also recently formed an internal DOJ team to work with DOJ on the cost-cutting measures. What can you tell us? Because they're going to dig into the nation's top law enforcement divisions, reviewing their internal budget reviews to find savings, right?
Yeah, the massive amounts of money that have been wasted. Truly, we know. I don't think any of us, Elon, couldn't even dream how big the massive amounts of money were that's been taken from your tax dollars, from my tax dollars, and just squandered away to foreign countries all over the world, the USA, the EPA, and they're fighting us on that. They're trying to force us to pay this money out. We're not going to do it. We have teams of lawyers fighting to protect our tax dollars, and we're going to continue to do that. Of course, we're going to lose in these liberal district courts, but we will win in the Supreme Court. We will prevail. Donald Trump will control the budget. These agencies will control where their money goes. It was a setup from the beginning by all of these liberal agencies that when we came in here, all this money would still be flowing out. But they were caught. Now they've been exposed, and we will find all of them and all of our great agencies who work so well together will protect Americans and Americans' tax dollars, thanks to the hard work of Elon and Doge.
And you also want the public to trust the FBI. I mean, this is our leading law enforcement agency. We need everybody to trust the FBI, and I'd like to see some accountability. Can you take us from a 30,000 feet look at what happened here? How did it become so political, AJ?
Maria, that in my wildest dreams, I never realized how bad it was. Yeah. But now that we have Kash Patel in there, and I'll tell you, in the Justice Department directly, it was totally weaponized. All the Jack Smith prosecutors are gone. All these agents at the FBI who are weaponizing government are gone. And that's where we're able to find the good men and women who want to be out there, who want to be fighting violent crime, who want to be keeping America safe, who want to be fighting terrorism. Last week, Director Radcliffe, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, and I, we got to be at Dulles Airport in the middle of the night and greet a plane coming in from Pakistan with one of the worst terrorists in the world on the plane. And we got to thank the great men and women of the FBI. And that's what people don't see. The ones who are out there, they had spent a week in Pakistan getting this guy out of there.
Second to none. Those are the real agents, and that's what...
Yeah, that's when Pam Bondi and the former Director of National Intelligence, Ratcliffe, I showed you all a photo where they had the big, tall FBI letters on the back of their jackets watching these terrorists come off the plane. And I said that they were trying to rehabilitate the FBI's image wearing those jackets. Pam Bondi didn't have to wear that jacket, neither did Ratcliffe. But I also been meaning to talk, and I'll talk about it in future broadcasts. They finally extradited that drug kingpin I was talking about a little bit emotionally, a couple of broadcasts, starting over a year ago, where they tortured that DEA agent, and I thought he was put away for life, and he's been living free. And they just caught him again and extradited him to the U.S., so he's going to be on bread and water for the rest of his miserable life. But anyway, she's going to get to the Epstein files here in a minute. Then they're going to have a commercial. I'll have to play with it a little bit.
That's what we want to do, restore their integrity, restore the integrity of the Department of Justice, and show all the great things that at the direction of Donald Trump we're going to do for the next 4 years to keep America safe and make America safe again.
AJ, on the sanctuary cities thing, I know you've got all of these lawsuits out for people who are obstructing justice, obstructing your efforts. Are you saying that by the end of this 4 years there will be no more sanctuary cities?
No way. Okay. No way. No more sanctuary cities. I wouldn't even say 4 years. I'd say give it to the end of the year. Sanctuary cities are over. There are no more sanctuary cities as far as the federal government's concerned. What a sanctuary city means is they are harboring criminals. They are harboring illegal aliens. And if you're tipping someone off when there is going to be an ICE raid, DHS raid, we will find you and we will prosecute you. That jeopardizes the lives of our great men and women in law enforcement. Not going to happen anymore. It's a new day, and we're coming after you.
That is incredible, AJ. All right, let me get your take on something else, which a lot of people were emailing me about and talking to me about when they heard that you were coming on the show. The MAGA group is mad that they don't know more about the Epstein files. The MAGA group is mad that they don't know more about the January 6th investigation. Are you going to give us any more information on these two issues?
There's a commercial there I had to jump over, but this is the question everybody's wondering about. I say that they're presenting stuff to grand juries that nobody has presented before because of political pressure and pressure by the deep state. So they can't talk much about them. I believe they have the files. There was a rumor put out that the files have all been destroyed. I don't believe that for a second, but let's listen to what Pam Bondi's got to say.
Sure. And first to the Epstein, I'm mad that I didn't have more information on Epstein. I was given 200 pages of documents. I've asked Director Patel. He came in after that, of course. I'd asked for those documents prior to Kash coming in. Kash is going to get me all the information. I've asked him to find out why I didn't receive all those documents and he didn't receive all those documents. We've now found out, of course, that they were in New York. We've received truckload of documents of evidence, and Kash is going to give me a deadline on when he can go through that to protect, of course, the victims of sex trafficking who are wrapped into this. And he's going to give me a deadline on when he can get this, and we will get out as much as we can, as fast as we can, to the American people, because they deserve to know. Same with January 6th. We're all working on JFK right now. We will be working on Martin Luther King. All of these things that the president promised, we will be doing. They can try to hide documents from us, but they can't. It might take a little longer. We will find them, and we will release them to the American people, because it's transparency.
I mean, we want to know if there was criminality during the during COVID and January 6th. I mean, on January 6th, there was speculation that they destroyed documents. Did they destroy documents, the January 6th Commission?
Maria, we are looking into all of that. Nothing is off the table.
And in terms of COVID and all of the thousands of people working with social media to try to censor Americans' information during the COVID era? Yeah.
Everything's being looked at. Everything is on the table. Maria, again, it was the ultimate weaponization, what they did, things that were hidden from the American people. But it's a new day. Donald Trump is the most transparent president in our nation's history. We are all acting at his directive, and America will be transparent again as well.
Well, we love it. AG will be watching for this conference later when the president comes to the DOJ. We so appreciate your time this morning.
All right. I think that was a good interview. And I think they touched, she even squeezed in it there at the end, the J6 and the COVID stuff. You know, there's a lot of humongous crimes that are having to be looked at. And I noticed somebody was saying it would take, more, 90. Pappy Two Bears, how you doing? Thanks for going to buy me a coffee and helping out. By the way, this is a viewer-supported channel. And I haven't mentioned it through the whole broadcast, but I have a link in the description. Anybody wants to help the channel out with Buy Me a Coffee, and a thumbs up helps the video get around. So, and it doesn't cost you nothing for a thumbs up. But I see what you're saying, Pappy Two Bears. We get some real movement by 90 days in. It takes time to get the cases together. Well, you got to remember, you've got to impanel a grand jury, especially for older cases. You can't just write out an indictment from YouTube videos and news reports. You got to take hard evidence to a grand jury, and stuff like this, you have really got to make sure whoever's sitting on that grand jury is not infected, if you get my drift. You got to have a good, solid grand jury, and you got to have good, solid indictments that can't be attacked. So, I mean, they're dealing with world-class disruptors and people that have been overthrowing governments for a living, and backed up by billionaires and, yes, trillionaires from over in Europe that are tied in with the deep state. I don't know, Debbie. I don't know if your daughter called you. Maybe you didn't mean to put a question mark there. I don't know. Yeah, we want to see perp walks for sure. For sure. Let me see. Here is Miss Levitt. Where is she? Miss Levitt. Here she is. She's got something to say about Trump going to the Justice Department. I might copy that whole speech by Trump at the Justice Department so we can go over it. My next broadcast. We'll see.
Do you mean appealing or something else? And does the administration plan to comply with those orders in the meantime?
Fighting back by appealing, fighting back by using the full weight of the White House counsel's office and our lawyers at the federal government who believe that this injunction is entirely unconstitutional. And it is, for anybody who has a basic understanding of the law. You cannot have a low-level district court judge filing an injunction to usurp the executive authority of the President of the United States. That is completely absurd. And as the executive of the executive branch, the President has the ability to fire or hire. And you have these lower level judges who are trying to block this president's agenda. It's very clear. And as I just cited, I was appalled by the statistic when I saw it this morning. In 1 month, in February, there have been 15 injunctions of this administration in our agenda. In 3 years under the Biden administration, there were 14 injunctions. So it's very clear that there are judicial activists throughout our judicial branch who are trying to block this president's executive authority. We are going to fight back. And as anyone who saw President Trump and his legal team fighting back, they know how to do it. He was indicted nearly 200 times, and he's in the Oval Office now because all of the indictments, all of these injunctions have always been unconstitutional and unfair. They are led by partisan activists who are trying to usurp the will of this president, and we're not going to stand for it.
She calls them activist judges. I call them militant judges. Militant judges. So here's a video. I'm not even sure what it is. It's 2 minutes. Oh, I believe this is Mr. T. Let me see. I'm not sure. I hate those black screen videos.
But first, we must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls. Unfortunately, in recent years, a corrupt group of hacks and radicals within the ranks of the American government obliterated the trust and goodwill built up over generations. They weaponized the vast powers of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies to try and thwart the will of the American people. You remember the 51 intelligence agents that said, as an example, that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell came from Russia when they knew it came right from his bedroom. They knew that. It was a big lie, and they knew it so well. They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and supporters, raided my home, Mar-a-Lago, and did everything within their power to prevent me from becoming the President of the United States. With the help of radicals like Mark Elias, Mark Pomerantz, and these are people that nobody's ever seen anything like it. So many others, but these are people that are bad people, really bad people. They tried to turn America into a corrupt, communist, and third world country. But in the end, the thugs failed and the truth won. Freedom won, justice won, democracy won, and above all, the American people won. There could be no more heinous betrayal of American values than to use the law to terrorize the innocent and reward the wicked. And that's what they were doing at a level that's never been seen before. And it's exactly what you saw with Joe Biden Merrick Garland and their cronies to do the building of the last 4 years. What they've ripped down is incalculable. But what you're going to build up is likewise something that will be breaking all sorts of records.
So anyway, I chose this clip because for a number of reasons. One is that it's just like we were discussing for the last couple of years. This operation is going to be to the credit of the American people. It's going to be a victory by the American people, not of the military coming in on a white horse. We've been through hell and back. Not nearly what President Trump has been through. Not nearly what a lot of people who have ended up in jail and many operators losing their lives during this Great Awakening operation. But he does point out that this is a victory that belongs to the people. We're the ones that lifted Trump up and gave him the power to do what is coming. What is coming? What's coming is justice. And he is laying it out plump and plain. And if I were Mark Elias and if I were Pomerantz, I would not be sleeping good tonight. Because another reason I picked this clip is that he pointed out the horrible things that they did to Trump as a private citizen. Someone without the military protection, without Trump's wealth, the average person would have been destroyed, never to be heard from again. And Trump's very well aware of that. Very well aware of that. So anyway, he's thrown down the gauntlet and let them know that he knows what they've been up to. Anyway, here we go. Crooked Joe Biden got us into a real mess with Russia and everything else. But I'm going to get us out. Millions of people are needlessly dead, never to be seen again. And there will be many more to follow if we don't get the ceasefire and final agreement with Russia completed and signed. There would have been no wars if I were president. That he brings that up over and over again. Not just, I've seen some streamers say he's doing it for his ego. No, he's pointing out that the interference, the persecution of him by the justice system and the media cost tens of thousands of lives. That's why he's bringing it up over and over again. So when retribution comes and sentences are handed out, the severity will be justified by how much mayhem and loss of life they have caused. Likewise, there would have been no October 7th with Israel. The pullout from Afghanistan would have been done with strength and pride and would not have been the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. It could have been a moment of glory. Also, there would not have been any perceptible inflation. Instead, we had record-setting, country-destroying inflation like we've never seen before. Also, we would have had an impenetrable border with very few illegals coming in. Oh, what a difference a rigged and crooked election had on our country. And the people who did this to us should go to jail. God bless America and make America great again. So, yeah. He's putting it out there plump and plain what is going to happen. What's going to happen, people. Here is a nitwit. Because we got to keep in mind the nitwits are out there. Pushing this, it's probably the third largest hoax that costs us barrels of money, puts a lot of stress on people, psychological manipulation, on and on it goes. It causes human suffering these hoaxes. Climate change hoax. He's talking about zero emissions, which means depriving human beings of natural resources and the right to live a comfortable life.
Skepticism about ESG labels or sustainable labels, and that again is one of the reasons we're having this ruthless, relentless focus on net zero, because in the end, look, we can't stabilize the climate unless we get to net zero, and it's a simple, these are hard numbers. Your emissions are either A or B, they're going up or down, and if they're going down, are they going down consistent with the science? We anchor it in the science, the same science the UN and others use for the 1.5 degree.
Net zero, what an ass. They can't even measure this stuff. They can't even measure it. But it's a good reason for them to take away our ability to enjoy our lives, live a safe and happy life. Oh, I got this little blast from the past here. Here, a Doge protester just admitted being paid to protest Doge and Elon Musk.
You get paid to be out here? Yeah. Amazing. Just some pack.
You really are getting paid for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, definitely. 100% I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah, we've got to find out who's paying them. Who's paying them? I had a video. Did I put it in here? From a long time ago. And I'm not going to say galaxy far, far away. I might not have put it in here. How hard-headed some of these liberals are. But most of us know it. How hard-headed they are. You know, I was talking about that representative that died of cancer. I put his picture up yesterday. Citizens Free Press put this up. From beyond the grave. This is that guy who passed away. Posted by, quote, Representative Gurjalva 2 hours ago. He died this morning from cancer. President Trump's latest reckless decision to fire thousands of employees, blah, 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 blah. So they have bots or employees still putting out garbage, propaganda, mockingbird crap on his Twitter account, even though he's already gone off into the great beyond. I'm not going to read all that crap, but I'm just showing you. Here, what's this? Oh, Kash Patel. FBI Director Kash Patel. I want to address the alarming rise in, quote, swatting incidents targeting media figures. The FBI is aware of this dangerous trend, and my team and I are already taking action to investigate and hold those responsible accountable. This isn't about politics. Weaponizing law enforcement against any American, look what they did to Trump, is not only morally reprehensible, but also endangers lives, including those of our officers. That will not be tolerated. We are fully committed to working with local law enforcement to crack down on these crimes. More updates to come. Good. Here we got Posobiec. Suspect. And I thought, well, this was something I showed a video a couple of days ago about Teslas getting burned up, but apparently there's been more of them. Suspect torched his Tesla with gasoline in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. One was at a car dealership. This was in a neighborhood. Sunday night, someone lit 4 Cybertrucks on fire at a SO. This is, you know, I can't imagine he would put up something 2 days old. This was today. They drew swastikas and other graffiti on multiple vehicles. It might be another dealership because I can't imagine he'd put up something that old. What's this one? Clandestine. What's he got to say? Yesterday, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte was in Washington to meet with Trump, and Trump apparently likes this guy a lot. Today, Rutte is now confirming that NATO membership for Ukraine is off the table and that relations with Russia need to be normalized post-war. So Trump is getting who he wants in at NATO, and they're playing ball. Here we go. Just a little reminder. Just a little reminder. Who's paying the bills? NATO defense spending. We spend $860 billion a year versus all those other countries. Get a screenshot of that and put it on your Meta. Okay? We don't need to keep getting ripped off. And we won't be ripped off anymore. What's this? Ukraine seeks to end the war. Putin seeks to continue the war. This is Ukrainian foreign minister putting this crap up. Let's see what he says. This is the difference. Ukraine said yes to U.S. ceasefire proposal. Because Ukraine wants peace, Putin, rather than saying yes, puts forth various conditions. What's he supposed to do? Ukraine seeks an end to the war. Putin seeks to continue the war. The rest of his words are just a smokescreen. Yeah, well, we heard Putin's words, and they're very reasonable. Thank you very much. All right, let me see what I got here. Senator Marsha Blackburn. ICE should check the immigration status of every single one of these terrorist sympathizers. I bet they'd have busloads to deport. Straight to Gaza they go. Well, I agree with you, Marsha, except for the Gaza part. Except for the Gaza part. Gaza is finished. Trump laid it out there. There's nothing there. They got no electricity. They don't have any roofs over their heads. It's nothing but rubble and a haven for future acts of terror. So, yeah, I agree with everything you say except the Gaza part. There's a new future for Gaza. A new future. Look what I got in my notifications. I don't ask for this stuff. I don't know what the hell Quora Digest is. I don't care. But it pops up on my phone. Will Trump end Social Security or Social Security disability insurance? Only Congress has the power legally, but I wouldn't put it past them. You know, so more fear-mongering. More fear-mongering. Whoops. Whoops, I already put that one up. Huh. Put that one up too. So, I've got a video of, let's see what this one is. Another black screen. Already played that? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is awful. This is a story about in Baltimore, Maryland, where this kid got surrounded and they of course roughed him up, beat him up, and took his clothes off him. You can't see him you'll see just for a second. He's a little kid surrounded by these so-called minors. And you'll hear the reporter saying stuff like like it was a fight, you know, like it was a mutual combat. It's very subtle, very subtle. And at the end, they say it wasn't a hate crime. But apparently the kid was light-skinned and the attackers were not. So it's like 5 or 6 of these guys that stand head and shoulders above this little kid. And what they said, the video is too disgusting to show.
Many of you have seen that video by now. As we come on the air at 11 o'clock, WJZ has learned Baltimore County Police have now charged a group of young kids involved in a violent assault on another kid in Essex. Welcome to the news at 11, everyone. I'm Rick Ritter. WJZ choosing not to show you this video in its entirety because of how violent and simply how hard it is to stomach tonight. While details of what led up to this altercation are still pending, here's what we do know right now for 11 o'clock newscast. This did happen last Friday at the Kingsmill apartment complex. That's off of Hadwick Avenue, right in Essex. And multiple videos of this attack have surfaced on social media. The victim involved did get hurt, but is expected to be okay. And police say they have identified 8 kids altogether as his alleged attackers. And because of their ages and state law, only 5 of them can be charged, they said. Immediate conversations on social media allege this fight was a hate crime, but tonight, police say it is.
They say this fight was a hate crime. It wasn't a fight, it was an assault. I've got Jesse Waters here. Let me see what he's got to say. Jesse Waters, he's chiming in on something. He's got good takes on stuff.
Happy DEI Thursday, our favorite day of the week. It's in honor of Reverend Al Sharpton. We're just bringing you the best stories about diversity, equity, and inclusion. First up, the Linwood City Council in Washington State just appointed its newest member. This is Jessica Ann Roberts, a 32-year-old trans porn star with a cannibalism fetish. Yeah, you heard that correctly, cannibalism. Jessica wrote about an uncontrollable desire to impregnate and eat women, and was voted in unanimously. He or she said they were just trying to make a little cash on the side. This party's only getting started. In Oregon, a member of the state's Health Advisory Council came out as a turtle.
Hello, everybody. It's JD. I use they, them, and turtle for my pronouns. I'm in the Springfield, Eugene area, and I get to be a member of the council. Isaiah, would you like to go next?
She just said her pronoun's turtle. I didn't even know you could do that. Turtle gender, also known as tortoise gender, is an identity used by people who feel a gendered connection to turtles. Fox News has reached out to Oregon's health authority for comment, and they told us that every council member's perspective is highly valued, even the turtles. And over in Vermont, a group called the Vermont Family Alliance met at the State House to educate locals about radical transgenderism. Local trans activists got wind of this and said, not on my watch.
Look at those freaks.
Things got so hectic that the sergeant of arms said, everybody out.
I'm losing control of the room and my ability to maintain a safe space for legislators, staff, the public. Approximately 5 minutes, I'm going to shut the doors and ask everyone to leave the room.
No DEI Thursday is complete without a primetime victory, of course. This week marks the official end of life. Structures have begun removing the city's BLM street mural. Remember that one that cost about $4 million? A few years back, Mayor Ballard said this mural would be permanent, but not. DC residents are kind of mad, but the rest of the country is happy. They can finally move on.
Good riddance. Good riddance of bad rubbish. Isn't that what they say, right, folks? Good riddance of bad rubbish. So, yeah, DEI Thursday, I guess Jesse Waters is going to be doing that. Here's a church converted to a beautiful mosque in Glasgow. Yeah, you better watch out, Europe. You better watch out. Your churches are disappearing into the, I'll say it, hellhole of jihadism. If you, and some of you may have seen the videos that have been coming out of Syria. It's absolutely stunning and awful. It's beyond words. So, oh, Gary said, boom, my friend. Well, thank you. I believe that means Gary's going to buy me a coffee, which, as I said a couple minutes ago, I have a link in the description. And I thank you, Gary, chairman of the board, for helping sponsor tonight's program. I do appreciate it very much. And I'll tell you, starting next week, I'm going to try to go up earlier because I was disappointed with the daylight savings time. They went ahead with it. And I'll tell you what, Sadie stands at her dish at 5 o'clock. Now she stands at her dish at 4 o'clock. I don't know how she does it. She's got a clock in her head, and she doesn't give a whit about daylight savings time. So I got to fill her bowl at 4. So I'm going to start doing my broadcast. I'm going to try to do it a little bit earlier, like maybe between 9 and 9:30, okay? Starting next week, folks. Just giving you a heads up. And since we're talking about this situation that Jesse Waters just went on, people call themselves turtles and all this other crap. Riley Gaines, she had a little something to say to the ladies of The View. And I'm going to close out with this video. I think you'll enjoy it. And we got to give people like Riley Gaines support and get her word out too, right, folks? So I hope you all enjoyed this video this evening. And I look forward to getting together with you all soon. Probably Sunday, maybe Monday, but it'll be a little bit earlier, okay? The heck with that daylight savings time. We all have a circadian rhythm. Look it up. We all have go along with life to a rhythm that's natural. They don't even respect that. So anyway, enjoy this video that I'm going to play for you. And I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me this evening. And I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man. Over and out.
I will never not be impressed by how unintelligent and out of touch with reality the women of The View are.
When you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know, competing against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
The level of commitment to idiocy is actually remarkable. Let me help you here, Whoopi. This issue matters because women matter, because reality matters. These are the same people who at one point screamed and screeched, follow the science. Doesn't seem like Whoopi Goldberg is following the science now. Also, literally no one thinks that men shouldn't be playing in women's sports because women are weak. It is not misogynistic to point out that mediocre men can beat exceptional women. The inverse of that is not true. Take the U.S. women's national soccer team, for example. And if that wasn't enough, watch Whoopi Goldberg blaspheme the Lord.
God doesn't make mistakes. No. And the challenge is not to the trans people, it's to the people who are not trans. That's what God is looking to see, how you treat people.
Yeah. I feel like this goes without saying, but God does not pick and choose who he will judge on Judgment Day. Although Whoopi did get one thing right. God does not make mistakes. Therefore, he does not put people in the wrong body.